All right. Hey, everybody. John Gluch here with the Gluch Group, here with your latest episode of the Arizona Housing Bubble Watch. We want to make sure that you are fully informed as to whether or not you should be panicking. Like, hey, man, it's been good for a long time. House prices up, 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 up. That's when we start to get a little worried. We're all still, shuddering in our closets after the horrific downfall of the housing market. And so this is the question without fail I get the most often is there a bubble? Should we be worried? And so I've got your latest information to make sure you know what's happening ahead of all your friends. You will be the highlight of the cocktail party when you tell them all about all the wonderful things happening in Arizona housing. And I've got a couple new little metrics that I'm tracking now. So I am fully aware that you don't know what you don't know. Of course, if it was easy to predict, we all would have predicted this happening before. It's not so easy, but we did learn a few things. And so these are some of the things that I keep track of to make sure that we know and that our clients know as much as possible about if we need to be worried about this housing bubble. Is there one? Do we need to be worried about it? All that stuff. So let's get to the charts. Okay, first one is the percentage of homes that are behind by 30 days or more. So this is like simple, right? If we want to figure out, is there a housing bubble? Is there not a housing bubble? This makes a lot of sense. Let's pay attention to if people are starting to default on their mortgage. Are they behind? Are they missing payments? So this is the very first little section of that. And it is how many people are 30 days late, right? And so if you look here in the chart, I got a couple different stats there just because they're interesting. The US average is 5.1%, super low, very, very low, historically low. And then we've also got Arizona and just California because it's interesting, right? Kind of neck and neck down even below the US average at 3%-ish for both of those states. So we're in good shape. Like, people are making their mortgages. And I can tell you, because we sell hundreds of houses a year, that the people who have to get loans to buy those houses can get the loans. Like, the lenders are not kidding around. They're really trying hard to make sure people can afford their houses. They don't want to lose money either. So we're seeing really good underwriting and making sure that people can afford their loans. So that's a great sign. The next one is lease price versus sale price. So can you buy a house for about the same price as you can rent one, or even cheaper? We saw this get crazy out of whack when we saw the bubble burst before. It was way cheaper to rent than it was to buy. That's not a good sign in Arizona. And so what we see here for a monthly lease price is about $1,565. That's median. So like $1,550 a month. That's the median lease price. That's about what it's going to cost you to go and rent a house. Now, what's it going to cost you to buy a house? All right, the average sale price of houses right now is $277,000. If you look at that chart, notice the trend, of course, up and to the right. Prices getting higher and higher. That's a good thing if you own a home. Not as good of a thing if you haven't bought your house yet. However, what we want to track is it cheaper to, once you factor in the mortgage payment and all that stuff, is it cheaper to buy or to rent? So the average price, $277,000. That mortgage, assuming you finance the whole thing, you borrow all the money, which most people don't do, that payment is going to be around $1,550, which is almost exactly what it costs to rent a house. So buying a house, renting a house, almost the same. That's a good sign. That means after you've taken tax advantages, the fact that your mortgage payment is partly going to pay down how much you owe on the house, so you're building equity. You saw the chart, how prices are getting higher and higher. So all of that means you're way ahead if you're buying a house as opposed to renting a house, which is how it should be. That's a sign of a really healthy market. Now, affordability. We got to worry about how much the average job pays in Arizona versus how much the average house costs, right? You hope those are kind of in alignment. And so we do the math on all that. What's the average household income in Arizona? These stats are a little old. They don't have super new ones out yet, but around $58,000. It's actually probably higher than that, but we'll do it just to be conservative at $58,000 household income average in Arizona. And the average payment is about $1,550, as I said before, on a house. So if you do the math, boopity boopity boop, here's what you end up with. About 33% of your money is going to pay for your house. Now that's pre-tax, and this is not like, we're not getting crazy on this, but roughly what that gives you is that 33% of your money goes to pay for your house. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a healthy number. When it starts, lenders really are typically asking and shooting for around 40%, 45%. That's what they'll loan. So we're in the right ballpark here. That's for all your debt combined. So we're in the right ballpark. That's nothing super out of whack as far as affordability goes. So that's another good sign that we're on the right track. Now, one more, this is a new indicator that I just started adding, and this is the unemployment rate. Because this is all great news, right? Like crazy stuff. We're seeing unemployment at historic lows. Arizona, like 5%, California, even lower than that. So right now, if you want a job, you can get a job. It's pretty much across the board. People who want to be employed are employed. And so really, really good numbers there. People, it would be concerning if maybe all the other housing metrics look good, but people are losing jobs, unemployment is high, then that would be a leading indicator of like there may be a problem coming. And we're not seeing that at all. People have jobs, which is great. Last one is, and this again is a new one, is population growth. So this doesn't change from month to month, so I won't update this every time. But Governor Ducey just published a press release not long ago saying that Maricopa County added 81,000 people to its population. That's 200 people a day, and that makes Maricopa County the fastest growing county in the world, in the country. That's amazing. Like, people moving here means they've got to live somewhere, right? And home builders can only build so many houses so fast, and they're not building a lot right now. They're slowly building because of labor shortages. Back to that whole unemployment thing. It's just hard to get good workers. So it's challenging for them to keep up with demand, and what that's causing is lots and lots of people wanting to buy houses, and there's just not enough to go around. Prices are going up. Again, that's all good signs of a healthy economy. It's not as great a sign if you're trying to buy a house. It makes it a little challenging right now. We're definitely seeing multiple offers, people having to fight for homes, but it's not like crazy. I mean, for the most part, people who want to get in a house can get in a house. So all of this is on the right track. We are headed the right direction. No signs of a bubble here. To be sort of to look at the other side and maybe look at like, okay, what might we be missing? One thing that's really unique right now is that President Trump effectively passed a economic stimulus with all the tax cuts and all the different things he did last year. That's unprecedented. You don't normally have an economic stimulus like that in the middle of a really booming economy. So we don't know if at some point, are we going to pay the piper on that? Is that going to be a problem? It's hard to say. Some of what he did was so new and unique that we don't have good predictors from the past on how that all will look. My sense is that it's good stuff. I think that in general, we're not going to have a huge backlash from some of those cuts, but we'll see. Time will tell. So that's one thing to potentially be concerned about. In general, I think we're all on the right track. I mean, I couldn't think of a whole lot of negative things to point at. I think we're going the right direction. It's just a matter of continuing to be fiscally smart with our money, and hopefully everything will continue on like it is. So that's the latest update. One thing I want to make sure to invite you to is the Gluch Group is helping to sponsor the Tour de Scottsdale this year. It's a super fun bike race. It's in October, so it's nice and cool, and it's all up around in North Scottsdale. It's really beautiful, and we're helping to sponsor that. Anybody who's a Gluch Group friend or client that wants to ride in that race, we will pay your race admission. We'll actually pay for you to race so that you can go out and raise money for the charity of your choice. We're raising it with Young Life, and that's a youth organization, Christian organization that sends kids to camp every summer. So we're helping raise money for them to be able to send more kids to camp. That's our cause, and that's the group we're sponsoring. But if you want to ride for some other charity, you pick anything you'd like, and we'd be happy to pay your fee so that you could go out and collect some money from your friends and family to kind of sponsor your cause. So we'd be happy to do that for you. Come join us, be a part of what we're up to. It's a super good time, and I think you'll enjoy it a lot. So please come. If you want to learn more about that, just follow the instructions on the flyer here, and that'll tell you how to RSVP and let us know you want to come. So hope everybody is having a wonderful day. This is your update for the month. We will see you next time, and have a great day. See ya.